Welcome to today's Explainer. We are unpacking a truly fascinating topic today, the architecture of nostalgia marketing. It's basically a deep dive into how our most comforting personal emotions are systematically used to shape exactly what we buy. We're going to explore the precise mechanisms that brands use to trigger our memories, lower our natural defenses, and ultimately influence our behavior right at the checkout counter. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Take a moment and really reflect on your own feelings of nostalgia. Have you ever found yourself reaching for a product just because, well, it reminds you of your childhood, or maybe a simpler time in your life? So why exactly do we buy the past? When we think about these moments, the emotion feels incredibly personal, right? Totally organic to us. We think of nostalgia as this internal, spontaneous feeling. You remember the cereal you ate on Saturday mornings, or the clunky design of a classic video game console, and boom, you get this rush of warmth. But here's the thing, that warm glow of the past isn't just a happy accident when it happens in the grocery store aisle or while you're scrolling online. It's actually a highly calculated, meticulously designed tool used in the modern marketplace. It's literally built to bridge the gap between our emotional past and our present-day wallets. The source material describes this concept beautifully, yet quite pointedly, as selling the past sweet experience. To really understand this, we need to unpack what makes an experience sweet in the first place. Nostalgia isn't just remembering things, it's remembering them through rose-tinted glasses. When we think about the past, our brains naturally filter out the stressful or negative details, leaving behind this idealized, purely positive memory. Psychologically speaking, stepping into this state of nostalgia acts as a cognitive soothing mechanism. It lowers our defenses. We just feel a profound sense of pleasure, comfort, and safety. And marketers? Well, they know that when you're wrapped up in that sweet experience, your natural consumer skepticism just sort of drops away. You aren't critically analyzing a product's price or utility anymore. Instead, you're simply trying to purchase a little piece of that comforting feeling.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really fascinating contrast between the consumer and the marketer. As a consumer, your experience is entirely emotional. You feel that pleasure, the sweetness, that comforting warm glow. It's a fuzzy, deeply personal state of mind. But on the flip side, the marketer's intent is highly clinical and structured. The goal for a brand isn't simply to make you smile for the sake of making you smile. The objective is to actively manipulate those warm memories to drive a very specific outcome, a purchase. It's a striking juxtaposition, honestly. On one end, you have tender, authentic human emotion, and on the other, you have a calculated business strategy aiming to harness that exact emotion. The marketer is taking your private, nostalgic joy and using it as a deliberate lever to maneuver your purchasing decisions.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the precise definition we extract from the text. Nostalgia marketing is the act of making consumers feel the warm glow of nostalgia in order to manipulate their memories and brand preferences. I really want to dwell on that word manipulate for a second, because it completely changes how we view retro products. It implies an active, deliberate intervention by the marketer. They aren't just observing your nostalgia from afar, they are actually stepping into it. How do they do this? By blending modern brand features with your existing retro memories. Think about it. A brand might use an old font, a classic jingle, or maybe a vintage color palette, but they attach it to a brand new product line. By doing this, they're subtly altering your memory, retroactively inserting their current brand into your idealized past. They create a psychological link, so your brain literally conflates the happiness of your youth with the product they are selling today.
Let's move to and see how this builds in real time as a complete sales journey. Imagine you're just walking down an aisle and you spot packaging that uses the exact same typography from your favorite 90s snack. Well, that is step one, the trigger. It sparks a sudden thought of the sweet past. Then, in step two, the marketer cultivates that feeling. The imagery, the messaging, the colors, they all work together to amplify that nostalgia until you experience the full warm glow. Your defenses are totally down, you feel good. Then comes step three, which is that active intervention we just talked about, manipulating your memories. The brand subtly ties their current offering directly into your personal history, making you feel like this product has always been a part of your happiest moments. Finally, this naturally flows into step four, influencing your purchasing decisions. You see, you don't just buy the product, you buy the feeling. The initial trigger at the start of the sequence is structurally and directly connected to your final action at the checkout counter.
So the crucial point is that the entire architectural structure of this strategy leads to two distinct concrete outcomes, and it's really important to differentiate between them. First, it influences brand preferences. This is basically about playing the long game. By successfully associating their brand with your fondest memories, the marketer builds a long-term affinity. You begin to default to their brand because, well, it just feels familiar and safe. But the second outcome is much more immediate: manipulating purchasing decisions. This is the short game, that impulse buy at the checkout counter. You might not actually need that retro-styled camera or that throwback soda, but the engineered nostalgia completely bypasses your logical decision-making. Marketers are utilizing their deep understanding of our psychological comfort zones to guide both our long-term loyalties and our split-second choices.
Which brings us to a rather profound final thought. Are your purchasing decisions really yours, or are they just the result of manipulated memories? After unpacking the architecture of nostalgia marketing, it's honestly hard to look at our favorite retro brands the exact same way. The next time you feel that sweet, warm glow pulling you toward a product on the shelf or maybe a targeted ad online, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself if your brand loyalty is truly authentic or if it's the successful result of a carefully calculated psychological strategy designed to turn your own past into a purchase. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the structures behind the world around you. Catch you next time.